Hello my dear students, welcome to the next lecture in analog electronics. We have already discussed the BJT configuration and characteristics, the fixing of Q point and its stabilization. We discussed the requirement of biasing circuits and different types of biasing circuits, their relative merits and demerits. We also derived stability factor for voltage divider bias and bias compensation techniques. So we have been discussing about the quiescent condition of the amplifier, that is with the DC alone we have been analyzing so far. Now let us see what happens when you give an input signal to the amplifier. So in this lecture let us discuss small signal amplifier and graphical method of analyzing its performance. So what is an amplifier? An amplifier is the generic term which is used to describe a circuit which produces an increased version of its input signal. That is, for example, you can consider a sensor like a photo device which produces a signal which is very small, and if you want to drive a relay with a larger output signal from this sensor, so you need an amplifier in between. Then amplification of signal picked up by microphone is another example of amplification of the weak signals using an amplifier. Now what is a small signal amplifier? In electronics, a small signal amplifier is a commonly used device because it has the ability to amplify a relatively small input signal. So AC signal is applied between the base and emitter terminals. It's a common emitter amplifier I am talking about, to produce the fluctuations in the collector current. When the input signal is so weak to produce small fluctuations in the collector current compared to quiescent value, the amplifier is called small signal amplifier or voltage amplifier. Now we may come across terms like model, BJT model and all. That as per in syllabus you can see the BJT model. So H parameter equivalent like that. So before we move into such details, we should understand what is a model. The model is a combination of circuit elements properly chosen that best approximates the actual behavior of the semiconductor device under specific operating conditions. So here you are going to use this semiconductor device, that is transistor, as an amplifier. So the transistor alone cannot operate as an amplifier. Of course you need a circuit with some more elements like resistors and capacitors to perform the function which we require in a most efficient and correct manner without any loss in the information to be amplified. So these circuit elements have to be analyzed, how the transistor operates as an amplifier along with its circuit elements. So for this we have to model the transistor as well as the amplifier circuit itself. So before we going into the modeling, we can start with a single stage transistor amplifier circuit. I hope you are familiar with the common emitter amplifier circuit which I have shown you while discussing the DC load line and fixing of operating point. So this is the voltage divider biasing circuit, and this is the same circuit which is converted into an amplifier. This you are familiar with from the voltage divider biasing circuit analysis. So when the circuit is converted into an amplifier, what are the additional things coming to the circuit? You can see this is the signal which you want to amplify, Vi, and V dot is the output signal. So this is the voltage divider biasing which we are using most commonly. So when we discussed the DC load line, I think we had drawn the amplifier circuit with fixed bias, and in that the output resistance R0 was not marked. We were taking the output across, we were taking output from this point, and this R0 was marked, and we were not analyzing it with respect to AC, we were analyzing it with respect to DC alone. So here we have taken a voltage divider bias circuit with an input signal, then a capacitor at the input side, then this emitter bypass capacitor, you know its function to bypass the AC signal to avoid the AC feedback, and this is the coupling capacitor at the output side, and output is taken across this resistance R0, and R1, R2, RC, RE you are already familiar with. So what are these additional components which are coming to the amplifier stage? So the first component you can say call them as coupling capacitors CC. CC is marked here. CC input and output, you have two capacitors. So these capacitors pass AC signal from one side to another, and coupling capacitor does not allow DC to pass through it. It is also known as blocking capacitor since it blocks DC. Okay. So this is connected. You can due to this capacitor CC, which is connected between the collector and the output across the resistance R0 is free from the collector's DC voltage. The next capacitor is the bypass capacitor CE. It bypasses all the AC currents from the emitter to ground, and it reduces the AC feedback from the emitter side. So when you choose the value of CE, you have to ensure that it should give low impedance compared to RE at the lowest frequency present in the input signal. The frequency of the input signals which you give to an amplifier can be in the range 20 to 20,000 Hertz. Okay, we will see in detail the frequency analysis, but keep in mind that when you design the value of CE at this lowest frequency also, it should offer low impedance compared to RE. To ensure that, there is a practical guide, that is, you can choose the value of XCE. What is XCE? 1 by 2 pi FCE. So this value should be less than or equal to RE by 10 at least. Okay, so it should be very low compared to RE to ensure that AC signals are not fed back even at the lowest frequency of the input signal. Now, what about the output resistance RO? It represents the resistance of whatever is connected at the output of the amplifier. So now we have just drawn a single stage amplifier. When more stages of amplifiers are needed to be connected for sufficient amplification, then this R0 will represent the input resistance of the next amplifier stage. Okay. Now, next important term concerning this single stage amplifier is its voltage gain. So what is voltage gain? To what extent an amplifier enlarges signals is expressed using its voltage gain. So what is AV? It is output AC voltage V0 by input AC voltage Vi. You are amplifying this input signal. Alright. Now, what are the other quantities which you may have to discuss about the amplifier? You will have to find out the current gain, input impedance, output impedance, etc. For these purposes, you can analyze the performance of the amplifier by different methods. Now, this is the single stage amplifier which we are talking about. So, you can analyze its behavior, the DC behavior as well as AC behavior. We have already discussed the DC behavior when we discussed the biasing circuit. So the DC equivalent circuit, you don't show the input signal and the input capacitors. You consider the input capacitors to be open when you are considering the DC part, isn't it? And this is the DC behavior equivalent. But for the same circuit, which circuit? The circuit which I showed here, this particular circuit B, when you do the AC analysis, what has to be done? When you do the AC behavior, analyze the AC behavior, you have the input source, which is the AC signal which is given here as the input, and you are taking the output across R0. So we are assuming the value of this capacitances to be, or the impedance XCC will be very small, so that it can be considered as a short circuit when you analyze the AC signals. Okay, and this is also considered to be short circuit. Okay, and the DC source is also considered to be shorted. So ultimately you get an expression. So you can express this AC behavior in this format. You have the input signal and R1, R2 in parallel and RC, RO in parallel. Why? Because the DC sources are shorted for the AC analysis. This is like applying superposition theorem to this particular circuit. So you are superimposing the DC behavior and AC behavior together to form the final circuit. So in order to analyze, you have the DC behavior and AC behavior circuits in this manner. Now, what are the methods for analyzing the amplifier performance? You have two methods, graphical method and equivalent circuit method. So in this lecture we will concentrate on the graphical method. So this you are already familiar with how to draw the DC load line for a fixed bias common emitter amplifier circuit. Now these are the equations for the circuit which I have discussed now, the voltage divider bias circuit. So the collector emitter side you can so collector side equation you can form like this, using KVL. So VCC equal to VCE plus IC into RC plus RE, assuming IC to be equal to IE. Now in this format, when you write the equation, this is the slope of the DC load line. Minus 1 by RC plus RE is the slope of the DC load line. This is the equation for DC load line. Now you can also, I am introducing you a new concept which is AC load line here. So for AC, you can see that the load resistance RC is load resistance is a parallel combination of RC and R0 as far as AC signal is concerned. Okay, so here you can draw the AC load line with a slope which is equal to minus 1 by RAC. What is RAC? RAC is a parallel combination of R0 and RC. So in the if you want to draw the AC load line, you have to consider the AC equivalent circuit, AC behavior circuit. So this minus 1 by RC will give you the slope of the AC load line. So how can you find out this angle? Tan alpha is equal to 1 by RAC, and that is equal to OB by OA. Okay, so we will explain. I'll explain this for an example circuit, and we can draw the AC load line along with the DC load line and analyze the performance of the amplifier circuit. For that, you can consider this example. So these are the values of R1, RC, R2, RE, R0, and this 5 millivolt is the input signal. Okay, output is taken across this RO, and that is V0. So for this circuit, if you have the output characteristics, that is IC versus VCE curve, you can draw the DC load line using the equation for DC load line which I have just shown. So you can find the value, find out these points and connect these points to form the DC load line. What is this point? This is VCC 0, and this is 0 VCC by RDC. What is RDC? RDC is RC plus RE. For this particular voltage divider bias circuit, we have formed the equation. Okay, now we can assume that the biasing arrangement is such that the DC base current is 30 microampere. So the intersection of the cara for 30 microampere and DC load line will give you the operating point Q under quiescent condition. Okay, so up to this cara is already available. Drawing the DC load line is what we do from the DC analysis. Now from the AC analysis, we have to draw the AC load line. For drawing the AC load line, you have to calculate RAC. What is the AC equivalent resistance on the collector side? So what is RAC? It will be R0 parallel to RC. So you have RC 1 kilo ohm and that is parallel to 470 ohm, which is R0. Find out RAC. You will get it as 320 ohm here. Okay. So this RAC if you get, then the slope of the AC load line will be minus 1 by RAC. Now since the Q point describes the zero signal conditions of the circuit, the AC load line also should pass through the Q point. So after drawing the AC load line, you can pass it, make it, shift it and make it pass through the Q point with a slope. This slope of this AC load line is 1 minus 1 by RAC. You can draw this AC load line by following the procedure which I just discussed. So you can get if OA equal to 1 volt, if you take, if in the previous figure, if you take OA equal to 1 volt, then OB is equal to OA by RAC, or that will be equal to 3.1 milliampere. So after locating these points, suppose you are applying this 5 millivolt at the input, the variation in the input signal will be, for 5 millivolt, for the variation of the input signal will be, peak to peak variation will be between 5 into root 2 into 2, because it should vary from plus 5 root 2 to minus 5 root 2, or into 2 will give you the peak to peak variation, which is equal to 14.14 millivolt. Okay. So the input characteristics of the transistor, we assume that it is producing a 20 microampere peak to peak variation in the base current, similar to the analysis which we have done already. Then we are seeing a variation of this base current between 40 microampere and 20 microampere. Okay. Now this is shifting the operating point on the AC load line between Q1 and Q2. Corresponding to this, you see the collector current variation. So the collector current is varying between 5.1 milliampere and 2.9 milliampere. Okay. Now what about the variation of VCE? You can see that it is from 4.1 volt to 4.9 volt. Okay. Now you can find out the current gain corresponding to this. What is the current gain? This will be IC max minus IC minimum divided by IB max minus IB minimum. Isn't it? So what is the variation? IC is varying between 5.1 and 2.9. Delta IC milliampere, and that is divided by 40 minus 20 microampere. This is delta IC by delta IB. So you get it as 110. What about the voltage gain? That will be VCE max output minus VCE min divided by, what is the input? VI maximum value of input minus the minimum value of input. So finally you get it, you substitute, what is the VCE max? It's 4.9 minus 4.1 divided by, what is the peak to peak variation of the input? 14.14 millivolt. You get it as 56.58. Okay. So this is nothing but in addition to the DC load line, you have to plot the AC load line. So this is what you get from the from these parameters, and you are shifting this so as to pass through the Q point, which you have marked for the DC or quiescent condition. So you have to shift this AB with the same slope so as to pass through Q. That is the only difference here. You may be wondering why we didn't draw this AC load line when we analyze the fixed bias circuit, isn't it? There you were not taking this R0. This was taken as infinity, R0. So RAC was RC itself, so and the slope was minus 1 by RC in that case. You may refer back and prove it for yourself. Okay. Now what about the input and output phase? So input is varying between 5 root plus 5 root 2 and minus 5 root 2 millivolt, isn't it? And collector current is varying between 5.1 milli for this particular condition, between 5.1 milli circuit condition which we have just discussed. The collector current is varying between 5.1 millivolt and 2.9 milliampere and 2.9 milliampere. And the base current is varying between 40 microampere and 20 microampere, because 30 microampere is the base current for the quiescent condition which we have discussed. Now this collector to emitter output voltage, you see it is phase shifted by 180 degree. Why? Because as the input voltage increases, the base current will also increase. The base current is also increasing. So the instantaneous Q point is moving between Q1 and Q2. It is moving towards Q1 as the base current is increasing, isn't it? It is moving towards Q1. Okay. Now what will happen as it moves towards Q1? Again you can see IC is increasing. IC is increasing from 4 milliampere to 5.1 milliampere. But you see here the voltage is VCE is decreasing from 4.5 to 4.1 volt. Okay. Which means obviously you are seeing a phase difference of 180 degree here. It is reducing as this AC is reducing as this collector current is increasing, and as it is moving to Q2 operating point, when collector current is decreasing in this manner, you see the VCE value is increasing to 4.9. So that phase difference is shown here in this waveform. It is decreasing to 4.1 and then increasing to 4.9. Okay. So with this I am stopping the discussion on graphical analysis of the small signal amplifier. We saw how to calculate the current gain and voltage gain from the graph. In the next lecture we will discuss in detail about the equivalent circuit method, and we can develop the H parameter equivalent circuit of BJT as well as the amplifier circuit. Thank you.